Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Frieren. Last time around we had Well-Laid Plan, where basically the gang, Frieren's gang, went through a well-laid plan to catch a Stilla, and they managed to do it. They limited the number of watering holes that the Stilla could go to, and Frieren sat at one of them that they could go to and reduced her mana as low as she could so that Astilla would get close enough so that she could capture it. And when she did that, then the other teams realized that they had done that and immediately went over there. So now the girls are in for a fight. Speaking of fighting, Fern is fighting a different team, and she's being criticized for her use of basic magic attack and defense, and her opponent says, that other girl in your team, she's not going to last against dude. And I don't know much about Ubel, but I'm just going to assume that's not the case, so I don't know. We'll have to see. We will have to see. But yeah, that's pretty much where we left off. Like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. So let's go ahead and jump right into this episode of Frieren. Here we go. Alright, Frieren definitely knew the mage they were talking about. Alright, we got a couple things. First off, Rico Fajardo? Yeah, I would think so. I think that's how you would say that name. Plays, I forgot his name already. Virabal. Done anything else? Oh, he does Mirio on My Hero. That's pretty cool. Okay, so Zire? I'm trying to work with the pronunciation here, but alright. So Zire? I don't know. Not gonna look at anything else on the page, obviously. We haven't even heard her voice, so I'm not gonna look at the thing yet. The only other thing I wanted to see, trying to see who was the guy that who was the flower dude? Sharf. Alejandro Saab. I've seen this guy before. Okay. Why does everyone sound like Matt Mercer now? Every time. Everybody's they're screwing me up. Everybody does their voice and they sound like Matt Mercer. Oh well. Alright. So I think I got that. Alright. A lot of stuff in this episode. You can probably hear the dog. He's barking at something. I don't know what. Anyway. Interesting stuff. I like Denkin. I like him. He's smart. You know what? He seems like an adult, you know? Which is interesting. It's like, why... I mean, the thing is, he has to have his own reasons for getting the certification now, you know? Honestly, him and Frieren are the oldest people there. Of course, there's still 1,000-year age difference between the two of them, but they're the elderly mages there. But with Frieren, she literally only needs this. She only needs the first class certification so she can continue on her journey, you know? It's just to cut through some red tape. That's it. That's all it is, really. But everybody else, I mean, a lot of people that they need the first class certification for certain things, and for some people, like Denkin's buddy, it's for the prestige, for the privilege to be one of the greats, you know, which is kind of dumb, you know, but we say it's kind of dumb because we're looking at it on the outside, you know. Mainly, we're looking at it from Frieren's eyes, you know, and even Fern's eyes to an extent, you know, because Fern is kind of the same way. She doesn't actually need the first class certification. If it wasn't a requirement for going to the Northern Lands, she wouldn't take the test, you know. So that's the interesting thing. That's the interesting thing. It's like we don't. It's like our two mages, that we have an investment in. They don't need this certification for anything really, except just as a way of getting into the Northern Lands. That's it. But why does Denkin need it? They say it's like he has been, he is a well-respected mage, He's a well-respected mage, and he's getting up there in years, but he's managed to make it to this, he's managed to make it to this age. We don't know exactly how old he is, but if I were to guess, when Himmel died, he seemed to be about 30 years, or not 30, 80 years old. 50 years plus, I would imagine around 30 from when they finished their journey, their 10-year journey. So I'd say he was about 80 years old. Denkin, I would probably put maybe in his 60s, but at the same time, it's like, okay, so he's getting up there in years, but he's made it this far. He's made it this far without this certification. What does he need it for? The closest thing is... I can actually add this to the notes. The only thing we can take from what we've learned here is that Denkin needs a spell. He needs a certain spell that only Ziri knows. Let me back up, make sure I hear how to pronounce that.
Zeria is a living...
Oh my god, I was not expecting that. Okay. Zeria. That is not how I thought that. That's not how I thought, just based on the... Okay, Zeria, excuse me. So Zeria is the only... She has, she's, as they say, she's a walking grimoire. She has all of these spells. Now the thing is, Frieren is kind of like that too, because she's old, she's been around 1,000 years, and I don't know, I can see Zeria being sort of an anti-Frieren, because clearly, she has established herself as the head of the magical world, where Frieren stays in obscurity. Zeria, has become the head of the magical world. She enforces all of these rules and all of this stuff, and she has created this hierarchy and this system that you have to go through in order to get one of her sacred spells, and it's become such a symbol of status, of prominence, but this was not a thing even 50, 80 years ago, basically, This was not a thing when they went to defeat the Demon King the first time, So this is a recent thing that she has done. Now, I also caught something interesting from Virbal, that 29 years ago, demon activity started going on the rise. Now, that's an interesting number, 29 years ago, because what else do they say? They always say happened 29 years ago, the death of Himmel. So now I'm starting to try and put things together. 29 years ago, Himmel dies. He finally, he finally gives Frieren the ridiculous, crazy dragon horn or whatever that she needed. Then the gang go and they watch the they watch the meteor shower, and Himmel is like, I got one last adventure. I get to see you guys again. I'm good, and he dies. After that, it seems that demon activity goes on the rise, which is interesting. Demon activity goes on the rise, and somewhere in this time, now this could have happened just after the Demon King's army was defeated, so it could have happened, up to 50 years before Himmel's death. But somewhere in the last about 80 years, in the last 80 years since the death of the demon, or the defeat of the Demon King, how do you say her name? Seria, right? Whatever. Seria has, basically taken over the magical world and has installed this new system of magic, this new hierarchy of mages. Why? How are these things connected? How are all of these things connected? Why did she do this, Especially, too, because I'm going to be honest, we've seen her multiple times in the intros. She was also in I'm pretty sure she was in the first OP as well, but we never saw her in that first part of the season. But there is one shot in the intro, and I took note of it today, actually, when we started this episode, that we see like two young elf girls just standing next to each other. I'm going to posit, I'm going to predict that Seria and Frieren were friends, were maybe childhood friends, and now have since drifted apart, But why is she doing this? Why is she doing this? Especially if she's as old as Frieren, she's around 1,000 years old. Why is she doing this now? I don't know. And what is Denkin getting out of this? Why does he want to be a first-class mage? He seems to be a good guy. He seems to be a good enough guy. Like, he doesn't want any unnecessary killing, which is good. This dude is like, the weak will not survive, and I'm strong, so I'll destroy them and stuff. And it's just like, bitch, calm down. Just like calm down. Like, and like the guy that's making the test, like, we weeded out the people that aren't worthy of being first class mages. So, and it's just, but you kind of sit here and it's like, okay, could you have done that in a way that didn't involve people dying? Like, I understand that if you go to the flame, you may get burned, If you go towards the flame, you may get burned. In this case, these people should not have taken the exam. That said, did they actually deserve to die? I don't think so. All for a certification that in 20 years probably won't even be around, I mean, it's like with Frieren. It's like, why are we doing this, All for something that ultimately will not matter, Anyway, but why does Denkin want to be a first-class mage? We don't know. We don't know yet. And then there's everything with Virabel. That was interesting. That it's like, he's like this stone cold killer, but he's also not. Like, he does retain some humanity. I like that it's like he doesn't. His magic, like, it's not to prolong anything. It's to get a killing over with. But he hesitates. He hesitates, and that was his undoing. That he hesitated, preparing himself to kill Ubel. That Fern was able to come in and stop him. So it's interesting that it's like he will kill, but he detests it. He hates killing. And so he has to mentally prepare himself, which, I mean, that's good. That's good, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. It definitely means they're not going to go far. Granted, Fern, but that's the thing. It's like, do you have to kill her? Did he have to kill her? Why not just knock her out? Granted, Fern knocked out the one girl, and then he went and got her. They went and got the other guy who was still alive, and then they went and caught Stella. So if they can survive these next 3 hours, they're moving on. They're moving on to the next part of the test. So I don't know, man. I don't know. And I do like that, when Fern was fighting the one girl, she just started overwhelming her, and it's all basic magic, and it's just like, I love that line though of like, don't you have any dignity? It's like, you're just gonna brute force it, and it's just like, that's what Stark would do. That's what a warrior would do, let me tell you. You just brute force it. It's like, what's the point of finesse? Like, it's like, their teammate is just like, oh, he created this spell himself that turns these flower petals into sharp metal. But that's a very flashy spell that ignores a lot of the fundamentals, which is why that guy was able to beat him. That Land was able to beat him. So I don't know. It's just like I don't know. I don't know what you're prioritizing. These ideas you have about magic. It's just like, just get the job done, Which Virabel does that. He has magic that gets the job done. The problem is he hesitates. It's like all three of them have this problem, basically, And yeah, that's the same. It's the same thing, like between Virabel and Fern, but Fern doesn't hesitate. She doesn't kill someone, but she doesn't hesitate. She doesn't hesitate. She just overwhelmed her opponent. Probably didn't take up a lot of mana either. And then there you go. She beat her, then went and made sure that Ubel was okay, so they could keep going. So I don't know. A lot of interesting stuff. A lot of magical philosophy going around too, which is interesting. Yeah. I guess that's pretty much it though. What do we got? We got 8. We still got 8 more episodes. Like, this is for sort of double length season kind of. It's like I like that it goes to like 28 episodes. So we still got a while, but I don't know, where are we gonna go with this arc? Kana and Lavina have to deal with Edgelord Magic Man, and Frieren has to deal with Denkin. They still got to go and get their Stilla back, so we'll see. We will see. But yeah, that's pretty much it. With all of that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of my Frieren reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.